Good morning, traders. It is Wednesday, July 11th. We had a pretty good sell-off yesterday in the market, which we were anticipating is enough for another wave down. Taking a look at the charts, let's start off with the U.S. dollar index. You can see we've had that nice rally, started to push up near these highs. Again, if we zoom to the weekly chart, you can see the potential for this major breakout here. We'll just zoom in a little bit. You can see where we're standing right in the middle of this range. We've been chopping around and we've started to break out of that level, had a little bit of a consolidation of this previous peak, and now we're coming back up. And just zooming in a little bit more, you can see we're trading at this previous high that if we break above this level, which looks very possible in the next week or so, then we're going to see the US dollar index rocket to the high end of this range, and we're going to see stocks and commodities have a pretty sharp leg to the downside. So that's kind of what we're anticipating and what we're looking for. You can see every time it's come to this middle level, you've seen a pretty good strong run up into resistance. Zooming back a bit, you can see it consolidates, and then you see that last thrust really kind of pushes price straight up into that level. And that's kind of where I think we stand right now. This push up and consolidation, a simple measured move, shows this next push going straight up into that level also. So there's a pretty strong looking chart for the US dollar index at this time. Looking at commodities for yesterday, I just want to point out I got a new headset for doing videos, so this is the first time I'm trying it. I'm not sure how the audio quality will sound, but it does seem to be recording a little bit different, but we'll see how it goes. Anyways, getting back to the charts, here's the crude oil chart. This is a 4-hour chart. You can see we're trying to form a bit of a base, came down to a major support level. It's had a nice impulse wave to the upside, starting to pull back down into support with a nice multi-wave correction, and volume seems to be pulling back as price is pulling back, which is somewhat of a bullish price action. Now we'll want to see what the US dollar is going to do here in the next little bit. Crude oil is setting up for potential higher prices, but overall if the US dollar is going to continue to move up, then we're going to just see this be more of a shakeout in the downtrend. Overall, the key previous highs are still lower, and this could easily just continue to go down. So really kind of letting the US dollar kind of point the way for now, and I'm not too anxious to get in too early to crude oil. Looking at natural gas, had a pretty good pullback yesterday in natural gas. It continues to pull back this morning, and again I pointed out back here when we popped above that likely sellers are going to be very aggressive, which they are. They pulled it right back down for a couple trading sessions. When we started to drift right back up again, and we're seeing another wave of selling. I wouldn't be surprised if we see natural gas come down to around the 260, possibly 250 level before probably bottoming out. Either that, or we're going to see it just chop around at this key resistance level and just trade in here for a while, forming some type of bull flag where you get a nice strong run to the upside, then you get your bull flag, and then eventually see it continue up with a very sizable move into the $3 range plus. Looking at gold, here's the 4-hour chart of gold. Had a pretty good pullback there, starting to get a little bit of a bounce. Market just went oversold there yesterday, so we're getting just a light volume kind of bounce, very typical price action. We're starting to get a pretty decent little wave pattern here. We've got more or less a nice 1, 2, possible 3. If the way this chart is kind of looking like it's playing out, could get a 4 and one final thrust down to 5, which will bring us back down to a key support zone. From there, the market could be washed out, and we could see another attempt to come up to this previous high or this resistance trend line, either one of these. So hopefully we'll see another wave to the downside. Could provide us with an opportunity for another value dip in gold, which we may take advantage of. Gold miners, they took it on the chin yesterday. You can see they came down, made a new low, and they pierced this previous pivot low and are more or less oversold on a short-term basis too. We're going to see them probably jump up a little bit this morning. Overall, equities are moving up, and the US dollar is moving down in pre-market trading, and that's simply because the market closed yesterday at a very oversold level, and usually you just get a bit of a day cap bounce the next morning or through overnight trading. So you'll get a little gap up, and from there we'll see if sellers step back in and push prices down, or if this is a bit of an intermediate bottom or short-term bottom. Looking at silver, Here's the silver chart, looks almost identical to gold. Got a little wave correction here, light volume kind of bounce here. Very likely we get another thrust to the downside, really shake the market up. Going to bonds, bonds continue to inch their way higher. Just drawing a quick box here, you can see that we've got this breakout level here, starting to just run our way up to this upper level. This is the next ceiling that the bonds will hit their head on if they continue to move up. So we're seeing them start to step up. Eventually, if we do get a big move in the US dollar, we're going to see this thing just go straight up into the upper zone or beyond. But overall, it's breaking out and it's climbing this kind of wall of worry. Overall, you got to be a little bit careful when you kind of get this type of climb where it just kind of inches its way up like this. It can keep doing that for a long time, but when you do get a pullback, it tends to be very sharp and usually negates most of the move, and it'll come right back down into this moving average, which is also right through the middle of this previous congestion. So if you are long bonds, I would be kind of ratcheting up your stop, just as we kind of ratcheted down our stop on the SP 500 position that we are short, just to make sure we lock in gains. Taking a look at the SP 500 daily chart. Here's the SP 500 daily chart. We pretty much hit that main target that I wanted to hit when we were floating up at these lofty levels at resistance. We pierced to a new high. Market became very bullish. The sentiment became bullish, but overall, you look at a technical picture, we ran into two resistance trend lines. We pushed to a new high, and we saw lots of buyers. We saw a majority of traders those days were buyers. Price was squeezing up, and we actually saw fewer and fewer buyers at resistance, meaning you run into resistance, you're naturally going to want to reverse. And as we got that move that we wanted, which is a 1, 2, 3 wave down into our key moving averages, which now is pretty much falling in line with the support level we just draw across here. We still have a little ways to go. It came fairly close. Overall, we've got the easy money out of it. We've got our stop in place. We've talked about on average about 3% or change on our entire position so far, and we still have a little runner in case this market does break down here. We see it consolidate for a session and then really bombs away to either sharp new lows or at least to run these stops and put in a new pivot low before it possibly starts to go higher. Looking at the futures chart this morning, here are the past about 10 trading sessions, and you can see yesterday's price action pretty straightforward. We had strong selling. You can see we had the volume was high. It was mostly all red candles. We had a little bit of a short covering into the close, a big green candle and green volume spike. Just everybody ended up shorting it, and then of course they all want to cover their shorts, lock in their gains for their day trades, and of course you get all those short quick players covering their shorts, meaning they're buying back shares or buying back S&P contracts to cover their negative position, and of course it causes a strong rip into the close, which is normal, and we got that. But overall the market did close in an oversold situation, and in overnight trading we're just seeing prices kind of drift their way up, and we've naturally got resistance. First resistance will be at these pivot lows and this breakdown level, but you'll have a next deeper key resistance will be right through the middle of this range, where it'll find probably much more resistance. And again, our stops are up here, which is the last resort resistance. If it may come close to that and then reverse and head lower, but those are the three main levels of resistance. And you can see we came up this morning and we hit these pivot lows not too long ago, and now we're starting to roll over. We'll see if it can pick up speed and do another measured move to the downside. If you just take a look at this chart, if we just clear this up here and I'll zoom in. Well, actually I'll leave this previous price action just because we're going to use this data here. But overall, just looking at this price action, you've got a strong move down, which is a bear flag pull. You've got this flag up, and if this first pull and this bear flag is a real pattern, this move here from the high to the low, you take that from this pivot, and we're looking at 1, 2, and about a half, so 1, 2, and about a half. So we'd be looking at the next target, probably safe to say around 1320, which happens to be right through these kind of congestion back here. So overall, this is what we're looking for in the pattern, and not saying it'll happen today, but overall, this leg down, we may linger and just chop around here for a session, and then it could give way later this week and come down. The market always has a way of dragging price action out and really trying to shake people up. If it doesn't shake you out, it'll wear you out, meaning if you're a very short-term trader waiting for this next leg down, it might drag it out a couple days with some sideways chop and try and get you to forget that sellers are still in control and that this is just a consolidation before the next move down. Anyways, that's it for now, and I'll talk to you in a little bit. Bye-bye.